Remember the days that you prayed for the things you got now. And remember to stop and just watch that sun sink down.
Tim, first, thanks so much for doing this interview with me over the phone, and my apologies for folks who are listening to this whole interview on Rudy Blair Entertainment Media. We were actually supposed to meet up. I was supposed to meet up with the band. We're supposed to do a video interview. Things, you guys are super busy. I've been running around like crazy. I didn't want to miss you guys because I think you're only here for, what, one day, I do believe?
Yeah, it's a Toronto day, you bet.
Yeah, so I'm glad we can do this at least over the phone. So
yeah, I got my hair cut. I've been losing weight for this on air thing. Just a big disappointment, but this will have to do.
You know what? We'll have to make sure we do it again next time, man. But look, congrats on the success with the trio. I mean, you've had really some great success with you and your brother and in other formations with groups. I mean, how does it feel being able to adapt, let's say, in this business?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I would say, no disrespect to my brother, but I'm having the most fun I've ever had doing music in my life these last 5 or 6 years with Tim and the Glory Boys. I mean, it really is sort of it's not independent as much as it's we like to call it post-dependent, in that I was signed to EMI in Nashville for almost a decade, made 4 records, and lived down there, and but it was in gospel music, and this is our first foray in the country, and I'm just having the time of my life. Just grateful that I can keep doing it, and all the accolades are great, but it's just the ability to hang with my bros, on the bus and tour this great country over and over again, and just have so much fun doing it.
You kind of just led me right into the segue into the question I was going to go with later on, but I'm going to jump into it now. Sure. Why the change from Christian sound to country?
We grew up in the church, and it's always been a part of what we've done, and I've always loved it. We've been accused of preaching to the choir. I happen to love the choir, and it's my family. It's we regularly attend when we're home. My parents are hardcore into the church, and it's always been a part of me, and it always will be. But I think artistically, I've made like half a dozen Christian albums, and it was time to sort of explore something different, something that is different for what people kind of have perceived my music being, but not what I've listened to. I've loved country since the 90s when I started listening to it on QX 104 in Winnipeg, where we grew up, and it's now just I think it's about timing and just calling and just feeling like, man, this is what we want to do, and it's felt extremely natural to kind of migrate into country music. And again, we're having the time of our lives doing it.
I was going to say, because both genres tell great stories, so is it just telling different stories, do you think, per se?
I think it's country music. I think there's a little more room for nuance in the country music. Christian music is typically straight out of the Bible, and only really about the mountaintop experiences that are out there. Country music has the ability to kind of be romantic and to tell stories with some tension in them that don't always end the way that we hope. And I just think there's honesty in this genre that I haven't experienced the freedom to write about before, and that's been really refreshing. I don't know what else. Yeah.
No, that's perfect, because so let's get into it with this new album. What stories did you want to tell that, say, you couldn't tell previously?
That's a great question. I think it's just the language behind it. I think it's the same kind of concept in that I haven't changed, and I think my worldview certainly over the years has migrated a little bit from what I was brought up on, and I think that's normal for anybody. But just the way that the songs have kind of played out. For instance, I've never written a song about a girl, which might seem interesting. I mean, I've written songs for 20 years. It's usually, the first 10 songs you ever write are somehow about some romance that either went well or went terribly wrong. But I'd never done it. I've just written love songs to God, in the form of like worship songs or hymns, or it's just its own sort of world of songwriting. So it was extremely rewarding to be able to write a song for my wife, who I've been married to for 14 years and with 3 kids, and it's about that context. It's called Better with Time, and that's sort of been how that relationship has gone for me, and it's just been incredibly rewarding along the way.
Yeah, you were telling me earlier, your latest single is Blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of the story you're telling me right now? Or is that something a little different? And can people like maybe say, okay, he's getting away from the Christian music into the country, but then you have a song that people see as blessed. They can go, well, is he falling back into that?
I guess maybe it's one and the same. I think there are themes that are just universal, and I think that the concept of blessing, call it blessing, call it luck, call it winning the birth lottery necessarily, having the opportunity to kind of live and exist in a place like Canada, like they're universal. It's and blessing is something that I think is something we all experience in our lives, whether we define it differently or not. I think it's just the good things. It's just being able to have any kind of joy or laughter or friendship or happiness or fulfillment. And I'm 42. I think I've lived some life, and those things are more important to me than ever. I've, like 3 preteens kind of just in the making, and I just want to leave a legacy for them that's real and that's something that they can sink their teeth into. And for me, that's being a great father and a great husband and just prioritizing those relationships and also like counting blessings for what they are. I think for me, I believe those blessings come from above, and it's I think it's the secret to life. Not so much the realization of that, but really just gratitude. Gratitude is everything. Being grateful and in the good times and the bad times for even the little that you have or the much is what will keep anybody happy, no matter their religion or race or like life experience.
So live every day like it's your last one. You got one life, man, it's a fast one. So while you're on this side of heaven, thank God for what you got. Work hard, call your mama, do the right thing when you don't gotta. Take a little less, give a little more, and know that you're blessed.
Absolutely agree with that, my friend. But part of that legacy you were talking about too, lineage, you're touring, man. You guys are touring like crazy. I was going on the website and I'm just like, okay, they're in this city, this city, this city, this city, 24 hours, 48 hours. Like, you guys are moving. It shows just sort of towards the end of December. Are there going to be more shows happening in January and the rest of 2019? And are we looking at even new music in 2019?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely. We just announced another month of dates in Western Canada in, I guess, March, and we'll be announcing another 20 or 30 in the back half of the first quarter, I guess. But yeah, we do tour a lot, and that's sort of been our MO. We just the idea of radio singles and like an industry at large has never really played a part until recently for us. It was just put our heads down and go to the people and honestly play everywhere that there was to play in Canada. And we're on our third kind of round of that in 5.5 years, and it's the most rewarding thing ever. And yeah, certainly there's new music, and certainly like within that, I think it's important to say that our families are priority in that. We tour in a very inefficient way in that we'll go for 2 weeks, and then we'll fly everybody home. We'll park the bus near the airport. 8 people go home to their families, spend 7 to 10 days, and then we'll head back out, meet up with the bus, and continue on the tour. And that's just because it's more important to us to kind of make sure that our kids still recognize us than to be extra famous and save money on travel here and there. And then half the year we're not touring at all. We're done halfway through December, and we don't really hit the road again until March. So there's a lot of time for us to kind of just hang with our families and do that thing. But yeah, it is we like I said, we just feel so grateful for me especially, having had this sort of a renaissance in my career, to be able to still be doing it. It's just my mind is blown, and I'm certain I'll be swinging a hammer in some capacity within the next year or two. But for now, we're just trying to avoid getting a real job, I guess.
So the fact that we know what's going to be happening once March kicks in, website, Twitter, all that stuff, where do we go to follow you guys social media-wise and knowing when new music is coming out?
Yeah, I mean, the best option is just Googling Tim and the Glory Boys. But our website is timnewthoughtmusic.com, timandthegloryboys.com. They both go to the same spot. If you want to check out where we're touring, we have timmytour.com, and then obviously it's like Tim and the Glory Boys on Instagram or Facebook. We're updating pretty regularly. So, yeah, pretty much anywhere anybody else is posting.
Well, look, my friend, have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year. Looking forward to everything that's happening in 2019. And let me cross fingers that when you guys tour back to Toronto, hopefully at some point in time, we can do this again, but this time in person.
Dude, I would absolutely love that. Thanks for still making it work today.
No problem, man. Have a great holiday, and we'll talk soon.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Know that you're